How do Mime Artists? We're back in for another set of 10 UX stages. First off here is Miss Magius going in with an oddish team. But before I do mention anything about the team or the stage, you might have seen that all of these, or you will see that all of these stages have already been S-ranked. When recording, the files somehow got corrupted, so doing them all again, going in exactly the same teams, it's just a little bit of a pain to need to do them twice. So Miss Magius here going in, we've got Mega Rayquaza, just because at the start there will be some non-support Pokemon on the stage, so Shot Out can be fantastic. After that it's just very good for combos as well. Hoopa is super effective, Giratina is super effective, and then Silvally is just very good in the combos as you've got a couple of different types on the field there. And after that, with almost exactly the same team, just swapping out Giratina for a Genesect, too many G Pokemon. And this stage is quite similar, although the disrupted Pokemon on the stage, the slow pokes or the slow bros, they will be on the stage probably after you've got the Mega online, so it doesn't necessarily work too much. So it's best to focus on matches with the Hoopa and the Silvally early as possible. The Genesect is mostly just a very good heavy hitting Pokemon. It's there as a little bit of extra muscle. The ability is okay. It's not the best, it's just a super effective Pokemon that can do a lot of damage as well. If you wanted to try something else out, you could perhaps swap out the Mega Rayquaza maybe for one of the Pokemon that gets rid of itself. You could stick in a Pokemon that's got perhaps Eject or Shot Out, something along those lines. As you can see, there are some barriers as well. Not that they're too disruptive in themselves, there's only 3 per time and that's every couple of turns. But again, they're not that disruptive. So it's nothing you really need to try to curb against. And just short of having 11 moves left there, but a nice little match with the Rayquaza to finish it off. Not too difficult of a stage in and of itself, plus 5 moves may be necessary just depending on how strong your Pokemon are. Most of mine are fairly highly leveled. The Silvally, as you can see there, is level 29, skill level 4, so that is a very good Pokemon. Next up is Bronzong, another stage going in with a plus 5 moves. There will be quite a few Bronzors on the stage, as you can see there. There will also be some unbreakable blocks, that's why the Gallade is along for the ride. If you can get, again, quite a few good matches with the Buzzwole, the stage does become a lot easier, as well as if you can get some good matches with the Beware, good matches of 4, just to stop the disruptions for maybe a turn or 2. That will be very helpful for you. If possible, you can make matches with the Lucario just to get rid of most of the Bronzors, or some of the unbreakable blocks as well. It's up to you. Go into the stage, see how you feel it works. It's not that difficult at all. I think the plus 5 moves isn't even completely necessary. If you've got a good run, if most of your abilities are going off, then you will be fine, I'd say, without the plus 5 moves. I did give it quite a few shots itemlessly before this one. After this is Chandelure, another plus 5 moves. This one is because without it, it only has 7 moves, so you need to be able to beat it in 3. to get the S rank, which is a little bit difficult. The Mega again is Rayquaza just because it has shot out, and as you can see there's some Litwicks and Lampents that will be on the bottom left of the screen, so it's nice just to be able to get rid of those and do a little bit extra damage. Silvally, very powerful. If you do have your Ho-Oh skill swapped, you definitely don't need the Silvally, as it's not very effective on this stage. I'm starting to come around to seeing why skill swapped Ho-Oh for the typeless combo is much better than having it for or having the ability of Risk Taker. Just seems a lot better in a lot of scenarios. And there we go, another S rank, and then pretty much the boss of this stage, or of these 10, comes in the middle, Mega Gengar. So as you can see, a fairly similar team to what's been used before, just with the addition of a Shiny Mewtwo as the Mega and normal Mewtwo not as the Mega. Just because the non-Shiny Mewtwo can do a lot of damage with its ability, which goes off fairly regularly. I think it's pretty much max level. I think it goes up to 20 or 30 with skill level 5. So as you can imagine, a very heavy hitting Pokemon. Can go online very quickly as a Mega, which is good. Being able to have the Rayquaza not as your Mega means that you can keep using the shot out every couple of turns, just to get rid of some more of the EVs that do come down in the Skyfall. So just mixing between those heavy hitters, the Rayquaza, the Mewtwo, the Ho-Oh, as much as possible, seeing how it goes. Again, if your Ho-Oh is your Hoopa, not Ho-Oh, if your Hoopa is skill swapped, this stage will be an absolute breeze, just because you've got so many different types on the stage. Feel free, give a super effective team a shot, but I do like sometimes just mixing up the typings, and if Hoopa has been skill swapped to have the typeless combo, it will be even better. The disruptions on that stage, there's a lot of ice. Right down the middle, down the sides, all over the shop. If you wanted, you could go in with a shiny Tyranitar, give that a shot, but I do think that that is a fine way of doing it, and there's not that many items, just a +5 moves and a disruption delay. Next on to Stunfisk here, with Ashk the Ninja, shiny Gyarados as the Mega, Poliwhirl, Politoad, one of the Polys, and Volcanion. Volcanion has been an escalation battle recently, so mine's is almost skill level 5, and I think it's pretty much max level, so again it's another fairly strong risk taker Pokemon, which is a nice one to have. And for a stage like this, it's really not too difficult. The only real problem is there perhaps aren't enough moves. I believe there was +5 moves used here, and I think that might be somewhat necessary. Most of these Pokemon, as you can see, are very highly leveled. And after this is Pidgeot. So Silvally, again, it's good, you know it, you love it, you've used it. Mega Tyranitar, you know it, you've loved it, you've used it. Mamoswine, it's okay, you've perhaps used it, it's okay. It's not as good as some of the other ones. So on this stage there will occasionally be some Pidgeots on the disrupted onto the stage. If your Tyranitar isn't yet a Mega, you can always use the eject ability on that just to get rid of some of them. Beyond that, it's just a fairly average stage, trying to make matches as much as possible with the Silvally and then using the Tyranitar to combo a little bit as much as possible. The Regice and the Mamoswine are not entirely necessary. If you've got some other types that you really like to use, or Pokemon you really like to use, go with them, especially with the Regice. it's not going to be useful. As you can see here, there's a couple of breakable blocks on the stage. It's just a very heavy hitting ice type. And onto Whimsicott here, full flying team. We've got Mega Salamence, Lugia, Noivern, and Braviary. Braviary, very good in a stage like this, just because it's got the Sky Blast ability, can do a lot more damage for flying types in a combo. And Salamence, Mega Salamence, is fantastic at being able to do some tasty little flying type combos. Noivern, very useful here, as there will be occasional Whimsicotts on the stage, which it can do a little bit extra power to get rid of, because it disrupts about 5. You might want to use the Lugia occasionally just to get rid of a couple more of the Whimsicotts, but this stage is not too shabby in the slightest. It may take you 1 or 2 tries to get the S rank, just to get some of the... because Mega Salamence isn't always entirely reliable, so just using, maybe give it 2 or 3 shots, and if you're not able to come close to the S rank by then, chuck in a +5 moves, and that is as much as you could need. If your Noivern is highly skill leveled, even better. Mine's is only about skill level 3, and once it's skill level 5 it does over 2000 worth of damage, which is very tasty indeed. And there we go. Yep, there we go. That is another stage delightfully S ranked. And penultimately here we have Maharat going in, full water team, Shiny Gyarados, Ash Greninja, Primal Kyogre, and Volcanion once again. This stage, gone in with a +5 moves just because it has a fair amount of HP. Primal Kyogre is very good, but only towards maybe about halfway through, I think, when some of the, or about a quarter of the way in, when some of the breakable blocks do start being disrupted onto the field, as we can see here. And when you don't have any of those, just making as many good matches of 4 or 5 with the Ash Greninja, or even with the Volcanion, with the Risk Taker ability. It is an escalation battle at the time of filming this, so it's a Pokemon that you can be leveling up because there are some skill boosters available there. There's also going to be some Cubones on the stage, but hopefully by this point you won't need to worry much longer about them. I think this was the run where I didn't actually need a +5 moves. I would have had 8 moves left. That's always the way. Always the way, that the one run that you film is the one that you get the S rank, where you don't need the items. Always the way. And lastly here we've got Nidoqueen with a full psychic team. That's Shiny, Mega Mewtwo, Normal Mewtwo, Deoxys with the psychic combo ability, and then Tapu Lele, just because there will be a few unbreakable blocks on this stage, and it's a very heavy hitting, super effective type Pokemon. So if at any point the blocks do become overwhelming, just make a good match of maybe 4 with the Tapu Lele, and that should be pretty much all of them gone, because it has got Stabilize ++, so it can get rid of 5. Beyond that, just making as many good matches with the Mewtwo as possible, and if you can't, maybe a match with a Deoxys and with the Shiny Mewtwo, that way you can get a good psychic combo going. But there we go, another 10 stages complete and completely S ranked. Thank you very much for watching, and how do, Mime Artists?
Eggs! Eggs! E-double-G-S eggs!